besties, and welcome back to my channel. Hopefully I can add some happy squish vibes to your day today. Okay, so it's literally been raining all day here, so I decided why not make a video today. I can't go outside really because it's actually currently storming right now, so if you hear any like rain, storm, thunder sounds in the background, I apologize. But that's what's going on outside my window currently, so I decided why not make a video. Definitely a good time for content making. But I thought it'd be really fun to do like a story time video, so I'm going to be doing 3 stories today, and they all have to do with how I got 3 of the cow Squishmallows in my collection, or just kind of related to 3 different cow Squishmallows in my collection. So one story will be about how I got my first ever Connor. It's not this one, but we'll get there. So first ever Connor, how I got my first ever Cillian, and how I got Tulloch in my collection. I would say first ever Tulloch, but this is the only Tulloch I have. They really need to come out with more Tullochs. I would love like a 5-inch Tulloch. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? So cute. Tulloch's definitely one of my favorites. So like a 5-inch or like a clip version of Tulloch would be absolutely adorable. I was really hoping they released like a cow clip set on squishmallows.com not too long ago, and I was really hoping that they would put Tulloch in there, but they didn't. But this, I think, currently is the only version of Tulloch they have. So just how I got Tulloch, technically my first ever Tulloch if they come out with any more. But yes, so those are the 3 cow Squishmallow stories I'm going to be talking about today. I'm really excited, so let's get started. Okay, I'm going to scoot over a little bit so I can pop up some pictures here, because I don't... We'll get into this, like you'll understand what I mean. I don't have all these current versions of these cows with me right now, so I'll pop up pictures of them. But we're gonna start with the story of how I got my first ever Connor. So unfortunately, this is not the first version of Connor, technically, that I got. I actually, even just like regular Squishmallow Connors, this is not the first one I got. I think the first one I got, I don't even know if it's in the camera. I think you can kind of see it. If you can see, it's the Easter egg version of Connor. So it's like Connor on the top, and then like the second half is an Easter egg shell, I guess. So I think the 5-inch version of that one may have been the first ever Connor that I got. Question mark, question mark? Not sure. Also, I'm so sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but the rain is just like hitting the window. So again, sorry if you can hear that. But anyway, so I think that is the first version of Connor that I ever got. But I'm going to tell you a little story time on the first time, like the first Connor I ever ordered, or at least I thought that was like a legitimate Connor. But I'm going to pop up the picture right here, and probably first noticing, like first glance, you can see that it's probably not a legitimate Squishmallow. It's not bad. I mean, I've seen way worse versions of like fake Squishmallows before, so it's really not too bad. But I mean, especially when you have all these other cows to compare it to, and you've been collecting for a long time as well, you can kind of tell it's definitely not real. It's kind of those like good lookalikes, maybe. I don't know if good's the right word, but I mean, it's getting there. But I do remember that I ordered this one when I was in college. I think I even had my friend order it for me, so this should have been like my red flag from the start. But at the time, I had like just discovered that Connor was a cow, a Squishmallow cow, and I really, really wanted it. If you don't know why Connor's my favorite Squishmallow cow, definitely go watch that video. I made a video on it and like showed a couple of the Connors in my collection, so definitely go check that out. But at the time, I was like, I need to have a Connor Squishmallow in my collection. So I thought I was on like the official Squishmallows website. Maybe they didn't really have an official website at the time, because I feel like sometimes finding their website is always a little elusive. I think it's a lot better now, but I feel like at the time it was not as direct, like if they even had a website, or if Squishmallows just didn't have a website at that time. But I could have sworn I thought I was on like the original Squishmallow, like the OG official Squishmallows page or official Squishmallows website, and they had a Connor. I was like, oh my gosh, I need it. And it was like, you know, it had the right picture and everything, and I was just this young, naive little Squishmallows collector, so should have been red flags from the start, but it's fine. So I think you had to do like PayPal or something. Like some websites will make you do PayPal for checkout, or like I didn't want to use like a debit card or something on it, and they didn't take like the credit card I had, or something. I don't know. There was something weird, but you like had to do through PayPal. So I had my roommate buy it for me, and then I like Venmo'd her for it. And I was so excited, and I got it actually shipped to my parents' house, because I didn't really trust the campus shipping at the moment, but I did end up like utilizing it later when I would buy Squishmallows from other collectors. So it turned out being fine. But at the time I was like, I don't know, and I don't want it to get lost, so I'm just gonna have it shipped to my house. And it came, and my mom sent me a picture of it. I can't remember if I took this picture, if my mom took this picture. I feel like maybe I did, but I don't know, whatever. But this is a picture of it, and you can tell that it's not great. I think I still have this one. I think it might actually be in the attic of my parents' house, so it's not actually currently with me. Otherwise, I would show it to you in person. But it didn't come with a tag. I don't think so. Like, they have the little hang tag, or they have these tags right here on the bottoms of them, and they say Squishmallows on it, and it's got like barcode whatever on it. I don't think this one had like a legit version of that, if it had anything. Part of me is thinking I feel like it didn't have any tags at all. So that was kind of a red flag, because at the time I did have other Squishmallows, so I knew what they were supposed to look like. But it didn't have that tag, and it didn't have like the tag that, like the hanging tag over here that they usually have. Didn't come with that. It was literally just like, I think like you can kind of see the packaging in the background, not really, but it literally just came in like one of those plastic envelope things that I guess a lot of like Amazon packages get sent in. It was in that kind of packaging, and it was literally just like the Squishmallow. There was no like clear packaging in the middle or anything. It was just kind of like stuffed into this red packaging, and that was that. And I was kind of upset. I kept it because I was like, well, still a funny story, and at the time I was like, this is really the only Connor I have, even though it's not like legitimately a Connor. But you can also tell, like, with the nose, different coloring, antler things, different coloring, just overall shape, like, it just looks off. So definitely definitely a fail in me buying that one, but still a funny story and kind of funny to look back on. I definitely need to go get that from my parents' house, because I think it would just be funny to have, especially now that I'm doing like a story time about it. But yeah, definitely, I think it's a lot better now, because I feel like their website, like Squishmallows' website, is a lot more prominent now, so it's a lot easier to be able to get them from, like, get Squishmallows from them directly and not fall for websites like this. But pro tip here, don't be like me, because honestly, this comes up in the next story time, like the next story I'm going to tell you in this video, but not all, like, even if it's on like Amazon or a website, not all of them are that trustworthy. But this one, honestly, red flags like through the entire thing. Like, I can't find, I don't know what website it was actually on, so I can't show you that. But like, I remember that the website looked low-key sketchy, so I probably should have known from the start. But still a really fun story to tell. So luckily, I was able to go from this one to this one, and I'm really glad that I have actual versions of Connor in my collection now. Okay, next up, we are going to talk about how I got my first ever Cillian. So I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but this version of Cillian was first released at Walmart, and I think it was like their Easter collection, and I think it was like during the Easter squad of 2023 that Walmart was having. And at the time, there were a couple Walmarts around me, but they weren't, there was one really close to me, but that one didn't seem to get Squishmallows that often. And then the ones that were somewhat around me, it was kind of hard to get them, and just overall, like, they were just not hitting with the Squishmallows. Like, it was just, I don't know what it was, but like, they would get Squishmallows, but I feel like they wouldn't get them all, or they wouldn't get like the ones I was looking for, of course. So it was just kind of hit or miss whether I was going to find them there or not. But I saw that they were getting this one in. I saw like other collectors finding them at their Walmarts, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am obsessed. I need this cow in my collection. And so I was trying to search for them. The one near me, literally, I don't even remember if they even put out Easter Squishmallows. I feel like maybe they didn't. It was like a normal Walmart. It was like a super center Walmart, but they didn't have like a great seasonal section, I guess, which is where this stuff usually is. So I kept going to this one because it said they had them in stock like on the Walmart app, but I never saw them in person. I even tried to, when it said they had them online, I tried to do like the pickup so I wouldn't have to like rush there to get there in time to find him, whether they had him or not. And I even did the pickup, and I think I did it once or twice, and it canceled both times. So I was low-key devastated. I still went and checked in person, like, even when it canceled the order, just to make sure they, like, hadn't put out one, and they just didn't want to fulfill it, or that it was just because there was none in the back, and they were out, and they just didn't want to do it that way. I don't know. I don't do pickups from Walmart a lot, so I wasn't sure how that worked. but I even went and nothing. They had like all the other ones or all the other main ones and nothing. I was so sad because I thought he was so adorable and I wanted him so badly, but I just could not find him. But then I saw it was available for me to order through the Walmart app, like order online and have it shipped to me. So I decided to do that. But this also ended quite badly. So what I was saying earlier, like even some trustworthy, quote, trustworthy sites aren't that great with Squishmallows. Like you never know honestly what you're gonna get, which is kind of upsetting, but you know, can come out with a funny story. So I decided to order it on Walmart's website and I had it shipped to my parents' house as well. And I will just pop up the picture here for you, but this is what came in the mail. You know, it's way worse, or at least in my opinion, it's way worse than the Connor that I got. Like at least the Connor could maybe pass for a Squishmallow. It's still definitely in that fake category, like lookalike category for me, but like it's not that bad. But this one, low-key, I was shocked. My parents sent me a picture of it when it came in the mail, and this is the picture, and I was like, what is that? I literally had to send my mom a picture of what it actually looked like, or like what it's supposed to look like, for her to realize like how off it was. It just, I don't know, like you see the huge nose, definitely not like the right shape as this. The eyes were kind of off, the antlers were off, the ears were off. It was just, and I think it's kind of like compared to this one, it's a little bit of an odd shape as well. I can't remember if it was supposed to be the same size or not, but it was just weird. And so I was like, immediately no. So I was like, okay. And I don't have this one anymore. I think we actually returned it. Or it wasn't, it was like on sale too, which maybe should have been a red flag. So I can't remember if my parents returned it for me or if we let my dogs have it or not. I don't know. They love stuffed animals too, so happy to share. But this one I was like, this is not it. So I was like, my luck for these are not going well. So then I saw that Amazon also had it for delivery, like to order online. And it was more of like the correct price, like regular retail price, I think. So I think that's why I didn't want to order it from there originally, because I was like, well, if I can get it on sale, I would rather do that. But I should have just gone with Amazon originally. And this is the Amazon version that I got. So this is the first legitimate Cillian that I ever had in my collection. But it was just really funny. Like some of these lookalikes, you just have to laugh. Like, yes, you accidentally ordered the wrong thing, but honestly, like you have to laugh at it because it's just so funny. Because this is just so off, and it's just hysterical in a way. So, but I'm really glad that I finally got a regular Cillian in my collection, and now I have a lot more. If you want to see my Cillian collection, definitely let me know in the comments, and I can do a video on that as well. But very glad to have this version of Cillian finally in my collection. And my third and final story, luckily this is the Tulloch story, and it's not as bad as like the other ones. Like it's not the story where I tried to order one and it was obviously not a regular Squishmallow. But this one is kind of just the story of how I got him, because I don't know if y'all have Tulloch in your collection, you might remember this, but when he first came out at Target, I think he's like a Target exclusive Squishmallow, but again, this is, like I said earlier in the video, this is the only version of Tulloch I believe that there is. Again, Squishmallows, if on the off chance you're listening or watching, definitely we need more Tullochs out there. Like we need clips, 5-inch, 8-inch, I'll take that, like anything. We need some more Tullochs because I love Tulloch. But whenever it originally came out at Target, it was really hard to find them. But, or at least in my area, like I feel like some Targets, they'd have like shelves worth of Tullochs, and you could just walk in and there'd be so many and you would be able to easily find it on the shelf there. But then there were some Targets where you had to actually like ask the like staff members or like the Target workers to go in the back and look for them for you, because either they didn't get very many, or like they did, but they weren't putting them out very quickly, or because they didn't get very many and people were asking about it, they just like kind of kept them back there. I don't know. It was very chaotic. But the moment that I saw that this one was coming to Target, I flipped. I was like, this one is so cute. I have to get this one. So I started like the full-blown search for it. And like I've looked for Squishmallows for a long time. I mean, I will say like when, for example, like I'll do stuff when the Target like Valentine's Day Squishmallows squad set whatever collection came out this year in January, I guess. I checked all of my Targets religiously because I wanted to find the stuff that I was looking for, and I got quite a few things from that set. But I was just really determined to find them because I didn't know like how quickly they'd sell out of the stuff that I wanted, just especially because they're really popular. So I checked religiously for that stuff. So I've definitely done that kind of thing before, but like this one was like a full-blown ride, and it was probably the first time I ever was really like seriously looking for a Squishmallow the way that sometimes I do now. So it's just kind of a memorable experience for me. So at the time there were really only 2 Targets around me where I was when Tullet came out, and of course they were like 20 to 30 minutes away, so they weren't like right next to each other. So if I wanted to go to both, like it was kind of a trip, because the Targets in general to in relation to like where I actually was about like 15 to 20 minutes away from me. So it was like probably like 15-20 minutes to get to one, and then like 20 to 30 to get to the other one, and then back like 20 minutes or whatever to get back to like where I was living. So it was just kind of like a little bit of a trip. I mean, it was not that bad, like really was not that bad at all, but it wasn't just like right down the road. So like I couldn't just go quickly for 5 minutes and then come back. So I had to make like a whole thing about it. So this one was also when I was still in college, and I remember I had no classes on Friday. So I had been looking throughout like the couple weeks before then, just like going to Target when I could, and they never had him out. And you could like see on the app too when Target was getting them, or like they finally showed up on the app, but it didn't show that the ones in my area had him, or that I don't even think I could order it for pickup or like order it online. I think ordering it online was an option at one point, but I really, really wanted to find it in person. I mean, there's just, as like just collectors in general, like there's something different about finding a Squishmallow in person versus ordering it. Plus you get to pick out the one that you want. I mean, I guess I didn't really pick this one out. We'll get to that, but like when you order online, you never know what they're going to come out looking like. And like sometimes you'll go to the store and be like, okay, I definitely like this one out of like the 4 they have. So when you see it in person, it's just different. It just hits different. But like I said, I'd been checking a couple weeks beforehand because I saw other people getting them, but I definitely didn't think mine had like really gotten them yet. So I wasn't asking a ton about it. I think maybe I did, but they were like, no, we don't have that. So I was like, okay, because I couldn't even show them on the app because I don't think it had shown up yet. But I remember it was on the app, and I think that it said that mine was going to have them like that Thursday, and I didn't have classes on Friday. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to both on Friday, and I am going to find this Squishmallow because I've been searching for it and I want him so bad. So I went to the one that I think was technically closest to me at the time, and it said, I think that they had them, like I could see on my app, because sometimes on the app for me versus the app for staff members, I think it says different stuff, which understandably so, but I could tell that this one said they had it. So I went there, and it was really funny because I went into the Squishmallow aisle and I was looking around in the other places that I thought maybe they'd have him, and nothing. And I felt like this Target worker was so sweet. Target workers can be so sweet sometimes. It's so nice. But she like walked up to me and she's like, hi, like, can I help you with anything? And I was like, actually, yes. And okay, if you know me, I don't really like talking to workers, like when I go into stores, whether it's Squishmallows or clothes, like I just kind of like to do my own thing. But she was like, do you need any help? And I was like, actually, I do. And so I showed her the picture I was talking about, and she looked it up on her like device or phone or whatever. And she was like, well, it says we have some in the back, like 1 or 2 in the back. So let me go check. So she went back to the back to check for me. I swear it felt like an eternity for her to go back there and come back out. It was probably only like 10 minutes or so, but it was a little time, like little bit of time. So I could definitely tell like she was actually looking. So that was really nice. So it wasn't just like she went to the back, counted to 10 and came back and was like, no, we don't have it. But she was actually looking. So I was like near the back doors too, because like where the toy aisles are for me and my Targets were right next to like the electronics section, which is right next to the back. So I could see her go in and see her come out. And I saw her come out and she had nothing in her hands. And I was like, oh no, they don't have it. And so she came up to me and she was like, I'm so sorry. I looked literally everywhere that I could and I do not see them. It says we have them. So either they must be like packaged up in some pallet that I can't get to, or like the system's messing up or something. And I was like, okay, like that's totally fine. Thank you so much for looking. Like I really do appreciate that. And then she offered to look if like the other Target in the area, so the other one I was telling you about, if they had them in stock. And she looked and she said it actually looks like they should have like 3 or 4 in stock, so they should actually have more. And I was like, ooh, okay. And she was like, obviously like that's not a guarantee. And I was like, no, I totally understand. And she's like, but it would be worth checking and asking about it. And I was like, okay, cool. So at that point, I basically race out to my car and race over to the other Target. I swear, I can't even remember, but I feel like I got stuck behind so many slow people. Like, I wasn't trying to speed or anything, but like people that were not going the speed limit, like well under the speed limit. I was like, all right, people, I've got places to be. I've got Squishmallows to get. Like, let's go. So I raced over there as fast as I could, and I burst into that Target, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if y'all do this, but like sometimes if I'm going to ask an employee about a Squishmallow, I try and pick my employees well. Like, I feel like that sounds weird. Okay, sorry y'all if I'm like in a different place than I was just a second ago. I had some technical issues in the middle of my sentence. But anyway, like I was saying, like some of y'all probably know what I mean. Like, I try and pick my employees well when I'm trying to ask about Squishmallows, because you never know. You really look at some of them and you're like, I don't know, like I just don't think they're gonna want to help me with something like this. So I was walking quickly through this Target because I was trying to get to the toy section quickly in case they already had them out, because I couldn't tell if they, like, we couldn't tell if they just had those Squishmallows of Tulloch in the back or if they were actually in the toy aisle. So I wanted to get to them fast just in case they were already out there. But I got to the toy aisle and they were nowhere to be seen and nowhere around anywhere else that I looked. So then I started really frantically looking for a Target employee to ask. I literally kind of just stumbled upon this person, so I felt kind of bad because I feel like I just kind of like ambushed them into asking them this. But I honestly, at this point, I was desperate. So I was looking through the other aisles, and I think it was actually like one of like the summer aisles near there, because that's near like the toy section in that Target. And there was someone just like hanging, like one of the Target employees just kind of hanging out. I think they were putting something on the shelves, but there wasn't like anybody else in there and they weren't talking to someone already. So I just kind of like walked straight up to them. I was like, hey, so I was just at the other Target and they said they didn't have this Squishmallow, and I like showed them a picture of him. And I was like, but they looked in their system and said it looked like y'all had a couple. So I was wondering if you could look in the back for me for them. They seemed a little annoyed, so I felt kind of bad, but again, at this point I was desperate. So they were like, I don't remember seeing any of those out, but I will definitely go look for it in the back. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. I was like trying to be very, very appreciative to them, because I really was. But after a little while, it was definitely not as long as like the other girl looked, but still very thankful that she really looked hard for me. But they came back out and I about screamed in the middle of Target, in the middle of this Target aisle, because they had Tulloch. He was still in like the clear plastic bag that he comes in or whatever. And he had that. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, no way. I literally don't even remember what I said to them, because I was kind of like blacking out at the moment, because I was so excited, because I had searched for weeks, and then that day was just a full roller coaster, and I was trying so hard to get him, but I was ecstatic. I think I just, like, I said thank you. I said it like probably like 10 times, and they were like, you're welcome, and they kind of like started walking away, and I rushed back through the Target. I will put some pictures up here of him in the car. I literally meant to like stop in Target and take a picture of him in Target, but I didn't. Like, it's such an adrenaline rush, and I rushed to check out, rushed to get in the car, and I think I was like worried to set him down because I didn't want anyone to like think they could take him, because I was like, I've gone through so much work to get him, like, please, this one's for me, please. So I didn't take pictures until I got in the car, so I'll show a couple of them here. But I was so excited. I think I literally even called my fiance, who's my boyfriend at the time, but I called him, I think it was even at work, but I was like, you will not believe what I found. Like, I finally found it, and I was so excited. So I just had to share the news, and it was just such a good day. Like, I literally think I called my mom too and told her about it, because I had told her that I was looking for it. And I think I had told her to check Targets at home if she was there to see if they had it too. But I was so ecstatic, so relieved. It was just like pure joy moment. It was so much fun. Oh, and funny little like side story, because of course this would be my luck. My roommate at the time was also kind of looking for Tulloch, but it was more of a like, if we found it in person, like if she found one, she would get it. But she wasn't like really fully into doing like what I did, because she like kind of has a couple of Squishmallows but doesn't collect it as much, or like collect them as much as I do. But we both agree that this one was absolutely adorable. We literally, I swear it was like a week or so later, we literally stepped into one of the Targets that I had looked at, and I think someone had returned him, or it was like near the front because they were going to put him back out, and he was literally just staring at us when we walked into the Target. Like one of those return carts towards like the self-checkout area. He was just chilling there. And she's taller than I am, so like she could see kind of over the shelves more onto the cart, and so I didn't see him at first, but she was like, "Oh my gosh, Allie, look." And I was like, no way that this is just sitting here. So honestly, it was like a successful couple of weeks, because we ended up getting that one as well. We made sure to ask because we didn't know if like it was being saved for someone or whatnot, and the lady was like, no, like it was just sitting here to go back on the shelf. So she bought that one, and I will pop another picture up here of our two Tullocks together. It was literally perfect. I just think he's just such a perfect Squishmallow, and I'm so glad that I had him, and that I was able to get him, and that my roommate was able to get him. But after that, I will say I never saw him in person. I never saw him just like chilling on the shelves. Never. I know a lot of people's Targets had them like that, but I never got the chance to see him like that. But that's okay, because I still have my own version, and I'm so happy about that. All right, well, that's the end of my little story time today. I hope y'all enjoyed hearing how I got my first Connor, my first Cillian, and how I got Tulloch in my collection. Very fun stories to tell. Oh, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but we just had thunder. It's like the storm's definitely near us, but it's not like right overhead at the moment. But anyway, I'm so glad that y'all tuned in. It was so fun to tell those stories. It's always just fun to like look back, think back, and reminisce on these times, especially just like how I got some of these Squishmallows in my collection, because it's always just fun stories usually. And even if it's bad, like in these cases where you get definite fake versions of Squishmallows, it's always funny to tell those stories and look back. If you have any funny Squishmallow stories of your own, or other plush funny stories of your own, definitely leave them in the comments below. I'd love to read them. I just think it's so fun to hear about that stuff. Or if you'd like to hear like a part 2 of just story time, Squishmallow story time, definitely let me know in the comments below as well, because I would love to do another one of these. It's just fun like talking about Squishmallows in general, so definitely let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!